How's it going, my RWBY friends? Just finished watching Volume 6, Chapter 11, and wow, it was a very good episode. Pretty much fight scenes and action the entire way. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a heck of a ride. That said, it was on the shorter end. It was only about 13 minutes after the intro and the outro. Last episode, after the intro and the outro was about 10 minutes. You combine those both, you get about 23 minutes, which is still about the average length of an anime episode. So, as a big RWBY fan, I'm a little salty that episodes are so short, and we only have like 2 left for this volume. Amazing chapter though. I just wish it was a little bit longer, but it's all good. So we opened up with the mech fight. I just kind of want to talk about some of like the highlight moments of this this chapter. Starting with the mech fight, we had some cool interactions between characters that we don't see often, which was a nice change of pace. So we opened with the RWBY Rewind scene, of course, with Weiss bringing up that earth wall. We've seen her do an ice wall against Vernal back in Volume 5 at the Haven fight. Never seen her do a different type of wall though, as far as I remember. It's always been like ice. She has done fire attacks before, like in her character short when she let out a fire slash. Kind of like what Adam was doing this episode, but like not, because that was Weiss using fire dust. Adam was using his semblance this episode to feel that, but same type of long range slash attack. But the point is, we opened up the rewind scene and then we went into the cool mech fight with the interactions that I was talking about. Some of those interactions were really cool. For example, Qrow and Ren, we have never really seen them interact together. So it was dope seeing them both take down that hard light generator, which by the way was nice confirmation, because the only other time we've really talked about hard light in the show is actually all the way back to Volume 3 with Velvet Scarlatina. Good old Velvet and her camera. Making those weapons. Well, actually, yeah, the camera will make the weapons. Her summons lets her copy fighting styles. But the hard light is what the fandom basically named Velvet's camera, the replicas there. Hard light replicas. So now we get confirmation that there is indeed hard light dust. So that was really cool. And I gotta say, it was a very good job again by the music comp team on Rooster Teeth, or behind, working with Rooster Teeth. You have Casey Lee Williams, who always does an amazing job. The song from her end was amazing this episode, but also the music comp team, Rooster Teeth's in-house team, has been doing an amazing job all volume, and that I definitely took notice of that this chapter as well. So good job on their part. And then also in the mech fight, I like seeing Qrow go bird form again. That was pretty lit. We've only really seen him use bird form in fights as of Volume 6. We saw him use it in Chapter 1 against the Manticores, and we saw him use it again in this episode, so that was pretty cool. We never seen him use bird form before in fights, which was kind of odd because we kind of assume it was pretty good. Like, he never used it against Tyrion, he never used it against Winter, but the whole Winter fight's a little bit up in the air because he was kind of goofing around anyway. We never saw him use it against, like, the Grimm, but he didn't have a lot of fight scenes against Grimm. It was kind of few and far between in Volume 3. So, a lot of us were theorizing that maybe Qrow didn't want to risk going bird form. Maybe, if he takes an attack, if he gets hit in bird form, maybe because that body is like more fragile than his human form, it would expend a lot more aura to protect from the attack or something like that. Just a theory, but seems like those theories are not really right because he will use bird form in fights now apparently as of Volume 6. They just didn't really do it before, but they don't have a problem doing it now, so that's pretty cool. All right, moving on to the Adam fight. Oh my goodness, guys, that was really good. I like seeing Blake dual wield. Honestly, when I saw the fight start last chapter and Blake wasn't dual wielding, I was going to be very triggered, very salty, very, very triggered if Blake didn't dual wield in her fight against Adam. So I'm glad they brought the dual wielding back for Blake. That's one of the coolest things about Gamble Shroud. That and the way she would like use the ribbon and the gun on the other side to like fling it around and do cool stuff like that. It's freaking epic. Gamble Shroud's actually my favorite weapon in the show. A lot of you guys probably know that already though. So I'm a huge fan of Gamble Shroud, and you know what happened this episode as well, guys? Kind of looks like half of Gamble Shroud is destroyed. Yeah, so I'm a little sad about that, dude. Like, when I saw that thing get shattered, I was like, no! We freaking just killed Gamble Shroud, dude. Freaking Adam just destroyed Gamble Shroud. Like, it looks like only the sheath / cleaver, maybe the ribbon is still working. And I think the ribbon was on, like, maybe half the ribbon is still working. Maybe half the ribbon is on that part. It's very sad though, bro. Blake without the coat was looking fine though. Y'all know Blake's been growing on me. I've been talking about that all since Volume 5. Blake's been growing on me since then. So I liked her look without the coat. The dual wielding was lit. Adam saying, I don't need to do this to you if you behave, but you're selfish and a coward. Bro, it's paraphrased, but basically, I can't believe Adam said that. I don't need to do this to you if you behave. What? I cannot believe they had him say that line. It's so cringy. Blake, I don't need to do this if you just behave. Like, dude, you are literally trying to kill her and her friends. What do you want her to do, bro? You want her to just not do anything about it? Like, hey, behave. you stay there. I'm gonna slash with the sword, but just stay there. Nope, no. like, oh my god, Adam. Maybe that's something that he was told, because that brand apparently, the way I look at it, it says SDC to me. Some people said it could be numbers. I guess it could be numbers like 505 or something, but I think it says SDC, and I think that'd be more telling if it says SDC. That's super messed up, man. I cannot believe it. That's worse than I thought. We're gonna talk about the eyes real quick. So the leak, I guess we'll talk about the leak now, because y'all have seen this episode anyway, but the leak from earlier in the week showed Adam having like a circular scar on the left side of his eye, and the right side had like more of an like a slash scar on it, a vertical scar. So it looks like they actually switched it from that leak. That leak was actually a little bit off. The scar was way different than that. It was actually like more in the middle and the left eye. The right eye was fine, and it said SDC in my opinion on that. So that's absolutely nuts, bro. And he had just blue eyes. Blue eyes. That's surprising. Didn't expect that. Or one blue eye. The other one was, well, you guys know. All right. So it's pretty sad, bro. Blake used resemblance very well this fight. She probably used it, I want to say, close to 10 times, upwards of 10 times did she use resemblance, which is awesome because, honestly, a lot of characters in the show seem to forget that they have a semblance that they can use a lot. For example, RWBY. That's something I should have mentioned earlier. I forgot when we were talking about the mech fight. It was really nice that RWBY actually used her semblance a lot in that fight, because RWBY has a tendency of forgetting that she has a very good semblance, and it's very good for mobility, and she can basically fly when she uses it, and she almost never uses it. Even when she should, never uses it. So I'm glad she did this time. And indeed, it was pretty sick. The white rose moments were really nice as well throughout that fight. A lot of white rose moments. It was pretty cute. It was great. And it was like called back to this earlier volume with RWBY being like all nice to Weiss, and Weiss is being all like tsundere about it, kind of, you know, like, ugh, don't even, baka, all that stuff. Oh god. Don't, that was cringy, I know, but you don't even need to say anything. Just let's move on. All right, so back to the Adam fight. So it's also funny to me that Adam freaking calls Blake selfish. Adam is like the most selfish character in the show, more than Jacques Schnee even, I want to say. Like, at least Jacques Schnee knows what other people want to an extent. He knows like what the other snobby nobles and Atlas want. He knows, you know, what the other businesses want to make good deals and all this sort of stuff. Adam doesn't even care about anyone else. At least Jacques does a little bit. Adam just cares about himself like 100%. So I would say Adam is actually the most selfish character in this entire show, even more than Jacques Schnee. Not that that's saying much, because Jacques is a total D-bag, but yeah. So that was very ironic to me. Another thing interesting about the Adam lines this episode were how Adam asked Blake if it feels good to be alone. Now this is reading into it a little bit. This might be reaching a little bit, but if you guys remember in Volume 3, Adam told Blake that his goal from this point on was to take everything that Blake loves, take it away from her. So he didn't want to go after Blake right away. He wanted to take everything from Blake. That idea changed in Volume 6. Instead of going after everything Blake loves, he just wanted to go after her. This is proven because when they were separated, Blake and Yang were separated, Adam went after Blake and not Yang. He could have went after Yang, but he didn't. He went after Blake. So when we look at that, we look at the actions that he's taken and then compare it to this dialogue here. How does it feel to be alone, Blake? We know that Adam decided to go after Blake instead, and he wanted to make her feel alone. Instead of taking everything from her, he just wanted to kind of single her out. So this is good confirmation that he actually did switch his plans. Instead of trying to take everything from Blake, he took this approach. So instead of us kind of guessing if he changed his plans, which is what we had to do when we first saw Adam fighting Blake last chapter, all of us were talking about this, like, oh, I guess Adam switched his plans. So it's confirmation that indeed he did. Which is not that surprising. I mean, he's kind of a bipolar dude. He's, you know, one minute he could be chill a little bit, and the next minute he could be like yelling and trying to kill you. So that's Adam. Adam's semblance, let's talk about that. So Adam's semblance it looked awesome, but it feels like it got nerfed. Now that said, here's the logical explanation for it would be this. Since he spammed his semblance so much, it didn't do much. Like whenever his semblance landed, it didn't do much because it was weak, because he kept spamming it so it wasn't building up a lot. Actually, that makes sense. Still, why did he have to spam it so much? Obviously, that didn't work out very well. Even if that logical explanation is the truth, I don't know why they made Adam into a character that just spams his semblance instead of using it to just end the fight, which is how he always did before. In the Blake trailer, or the Black trailer, he, you know, charged his semblance up for a big attack, used one big attack. Against Blake the first time, he didn't even use the semblance against her. He didn't need to. He had just charged it up and then he used it against Yang. This fight, just spamming his semblance. Blake and Adam both spammed their semblance a lot this fight, honestly. It was very cool looking, and I don't blame Blake for it because, you know, that's fine for Blake to do. Her semblance is entirely different than Adam's, but Adam spamming it didn't seem like the best idea because it looked cool, but it really didn't do anything. It really didn't do anything. Like, Yang tanked the entire hit, and all that happened was the friggin' scuffed a little bit on the armor, like, and she got pushed back off the thing almost, but, like, that's not that bad. She was already kind of close to the end. It really didn't push her that far, and it obviously didn't really do much damage to her. So, I don't know, Adam, maybe, you know, you're trying to look cool, I get it. Spamming your semblance, it looks awesome, but it's not really being very effective. Now, that said, fight's not over yet. It's still 1v2. Adam already has taken some hits in this fight. Blake got a good kick in on him. He also got ran over by Bumblebee, or not ran over, but, I mean, kind of. He got freaking hit by Bumblebee. So we'll see how the rest of the fight goes out. Ending on Blake and Yang holding hands, saying that they're protecting each other. That was a really good scene. I like that. At first, I'm going to be honest, I got a little triggered for like 5 seconds in my reaction because I was like, oh, are we doing this again? When Blake was all like, we're not, you know, she's not protecting me. I was like, oh God, we're doing this again, aren't we? Like trying to stroke Yang's ego or like make her not feel bad about herself. But then it was like, we're protecting each other. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Because you guys are protecting each other. That's totally fine. But I thought for a second they were gonna like be like, oh no, we're not protecting each other. We're just, you know, we're both strong women that can do what we need to do. But it was like, no, we're protecting each other. So I was like, okay, good. That is what's going on. So I'm glad they acknowledged it. So basically, I went from being triggered for a second to being like, okay, no, it's very good. That's good. Thumbs up. That's what they're doing, and that's what they admitted that they were doing. So I'm glad. It took a different approach. It like misdirected into that. So it was very good. As a whole, very solid chapter. Like I said, the only really complaint is the length of the episode. So short, man. Come on. RT, why you gotta do this to us, man? Like, I know people say Genlock has a different team than RWBY does, but the fact is, it's the same company, and you gotta divide your finances between these different teams. Maybe RWBY deserves a little bit more love. I'm just saying, it's a flagship show, and, you know, 10-minute episodes, not very good. This was basically a 10-minute episode. Okay, this was like a 13-minute episode. Last episode was a 10-minute episode, and we're cutting out the intro and the outro. And we got 2 episodes left, Rooster Teeth. I swear, man. The next chapter's another 10 to 15-minute long chapter, and then we have the finale, and the finale's long. I'm still not going to be too happy about that. We'll see how that goes, guys. I'm going to wrap this review up here. I'll see you for the live stream later today. Hopefully you make it. 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time-ish. I'll catch you then. If you don't make that one, hopefully make next week's. Community tab, always got the updates there, and I'll let you know throughout the week in other media as well, Twitter, stuff like that. If you want to access my reactions up to a week early, consider sponsoring on Patreon. $1 a month will get you access to those reactions and some other cool benefits. And with that said, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch you next time.